Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are and whenever you're watching this video out there in the world. Um, I'm doing this rather late. I'm going to schedule it to show up at 8 a.m. on Monday, May 10th, 2021. And I wanted to give a little advice. Um, so the thing about writing, and if you're watching this, you're interested in writing your own stories, I'm assuming. Um, you're going to fail. People are going to call you your work things. They're going to be mean and spiteful and not very constructive. You got to take it. You just got to keep pushing through. You're going to fail. You're gonna write drivel. I write drivel all the time. I throw all, for every story that is mediocre enough to show up on my channel, I probably have 10 that just were horrible. That's just the way it goes. You don't hit the bullseye every single time. In fact, you don't hit the bullseye 99% of the time. You're gonna fail. You're gonna bleed. You're gonna curse yourself. One of the things that Jordan Peterson notes in 12 Rules for Life, if you haven't read it, I suggest you do so. Especially younger men in their teens. It helps you understand that little voice in your head. That little voice that says, "Oh man, this sucks. That's not very good. You need to start over. You need to give this up." Now that voice has a purpose, and that purpose is to make you take an objective look at your work and note what's good about it. The problem is that you have to restrain that voice. You have to keep it in mind to make sure you aren't producing drivel and you're just so narcissistic that anything you produce is going to be good. But it's only one factor, right? Um, Listen to whomever you've given your work to read. Um, Most people don't want to hurt other people's feelings, but you need to find somebody who's honest. And I've found that YouTube is the most honest place. I have a lot of people around me that like to read, uh, but because they have personal connections to me and know me and have known me for years, they don't like to criticize my work. My mother told me she didn't even listen to any of my stories, which I know is a lie because she emailed me the other day about one. But anyway, the thing is that you're going to fail, and you're going to fail, and you're going to fail, and you're going to fail 99 times. And it's going to hurt, and people are going to mock you. And you've got to stand up. You just got to keep going, keep pushing through, because everybody has the ability to tell a good story. Everybody has their experience to draw upon. Everybody knows people. It is our basic form of communication. When we're discussing things, we give our opinions and we tell stories about what happened to us that day or something that happened to us way back when that relates to our opinion. That's the whole point of perspective, right? And you're not going to find a lot of people, you may not find a whole lot of people that share your perspective or are open in this day and age or even open-minded enough to see somebody else's perspective. But you just got to keep going. Do what you want to do with your writing. Um, in the beginning, keep it just for yourself. Um, don't go through the motions, but tell a story. Uh, if we all gave up every time we fell, we wouldn't be a society. We wouldn't be around. It's just the basic fact of life that we're going to fail, that people are going to make fun of us. There are bad people. There are good people who make fun of other people. I mean, it just depends on their time. I mean, can you honestly say that you've never made fun of something somebody else did? Ever? That we're humans. We all have our foibles, we all have our problems. But for the most part, human beings, even those who do not agree with you or hold different views or who are angry, in their most basic nature are good people. Most human beings are good people. And maybe they have misunderstandings, maybe their perspectives are different, but you have to take that into account. And that's the whole purpose of telling stories, is to share your perspective, right? Now, I've written one story in the past 30 years that I wrote as a point, and that would be the last story, the big story, independent story I put out called The Experience, and that is a point. That was kind of a letter to Disney, a warning, per se, because I believe these people, these folks in Hollywood, especially at Disney, have forgotten how to dream. And that brings me to my last point today. Just dream. That's all writing is. Fiction is you dreaming, breaking that veil, looking into another world, and giving us a guide and a tour through that world. That's what fiction is. That's why you have to tell the truth. That's why all of these tips are necessary. The esoteric ones, as well as the um, more hard and fast grammar and vocabulary rules and such. If you're going to write, you're going to fail. You're going to bleed. You're going to be in pain. You're going to hurt. Especially if you're an empathetic person, which most storytellers and writers are. That's why writers, novelists in general, tend to lean left. We have a huge heart and we try to see different perspectives. So we empathize with the downtrodden, with those who we want to help, that kind of thing. Does that mean to say that we're correct in our assumptions or our perspectives? Not necessarily. I mean, that's the whole point of growing, right? Is to listen to other people and do your research and try to understand where they're coming from. That's what this whole journey called life is about. Um, so here is today's just a tip. Don't give up. No matter how hard it gets, no matter how um, derisive and mean uh, the criticism is, no matter how much blood you've spilled and sweat you've poured into it, no matter, it doesn't even matter if nobody comments at all. Just keep going. Keep telling your stories. Keep growing as a human being. And try to keep an open mind. That's it for today. I know it's pretty short, but it's a very important point. Probably one of the most important points uh, to the craft um, and to life in general. It took me a long time to realize that my mind was closed and to open it up. And I was a very, very angry person before then. But it's all about our journey, right? I don't believe the point of our lives is the destination. I believe it's what we learn upon the way, the lives we touch, the interactions we make. It's about relationships, personal relationships, professional relationships, and the relationships we have with with random people. Briefly, you never know what you're going to do or say that's going to change somebody's life. Let's just hope we do it for the better, right? And try to keep an open mind. If people aren't receptive, just keep trying. You don't have to force it through them, right? You don't have to. You don't have to. use your stories to punch people in the face. If it's a well-written story, that's just telling a story. Whatever point your subconscious puts in there, it's going to be there, and you don't have to hit people over the head with it. So, as always, I'd like to say, your life is your story. Make it a great one. Good night, and God bless.